So the Battlefront Classic Collection is almost here. It's only about half a week away now, and I know it's a 20-year-old game that I've already played so many hours of, but I am so keen to jump back in and play. With that being said though, it has had me thinking about some of my biggest hopes for the game, because despite all of the info out there seems to be still a lot of unanswered questions floating around the community. Now, the first thing that I wanted to touch on is probably the most controversial of the lot, and that's why I thought I'd just kind of get it out of the way early, and this is the talking point of crossplay. Now, I genuinely think this game is going to need crossplay if it wants to, I want to say, survive long term. It doesn't need to survive. It is a one and done type of game. They're not doing like a live service and stuff like that. So saying survive long term doesn't really make sense because it doesn't need to survive, but I do want the game to have a long lifespan in terms of people playing it for a long time. And I genuinely think that without crossplay, that is going to be a lot harder to do, as we've seen with many other games out there. Now, I've also seen a lot of people on the flip side of that saying they don't want crossplay, and I do understand those points. They are very valid points, and I almost agree with a lot of them, even though I want crossplay. A lot of people are saying they don't want to play with PC players because there's more hackers in there, and even just PC players are generally a little bit better than console players. They are spending $2,000 to $3,000 on their setup. Generally, those types of players are a little bit more hardcore, they're a little bit more experienced, and so a lot of console players just want to play with console players, and I think that is completely fair. But at the same time, I do completely disagree with that as well. Now, on the flip side of it too, there is also just the main reason that crossplay is a great thing, and that is being able to play with friends no matter which platform you're all on. I originally was going to be buying the game on my Xbox simply because I just haven't really played the Xbox as much lately, and I thought, you know what, I played the old ones on the Xbox, I'll play the new one on the Xbox as well. I quickly realized if there is no crossplay, I won't be able to play with any of my friends because I've only got probably like 2 to 3 friends who actively use their Xbox. The large majority of my friends are on PlayStation, and then I've also got PC friends as well, even other content creators that I want to play with, and I just simply wouldn't be able to do so. That for me is also as important as the whole like long-term player base and stuff like that. I don't think the player base will stick around that long with this game simply because it's an old game, it is pretty basic, and there's no live service. So for me, it is more actually important that I just want to be able to play with friends no matter which console we're on. And unfortunately, I don't think this will happen. I really don't think that there will be crossplay. It just doesn't really make that much sense because they are just porting the game. They're not putting a bunch of new systems and mechanics in and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I don't think we will get crossplay. In a perfect world, I think the best situation for everyone is that we get crossplay with the option to turn it off. So those who don't want it, you don't have to have it. You can play with just the people on your platform. And for those of us who do want it, we have that option as well. That is easily the best way to do it, in my opinion. But again, I don't think that will happen, unfortunately. But a man can hope, and that is obviously the point of this video, talking about my biggest hopes for the game. Now, something else I very much hope is that the game isn't kind of ruined by how much sweatier people are these days. Now, I'm including myself in this. FPS players these days are all much more tryhards than we were back in the day. That's just how it's gone. I think a lot of people, for example, myself, I was a very sporty person as a kid, always played sport, multiple different sports, and I'm a very competitive person. So that was kind of my competitive outlet. Yet as I've gotten older, I kept getting injuries playing sport, and I just don't play sport anymore. Yet I am still very much a competitive person. So for me now, playing shooters is essentially my sport. I almost take it like kind of seriously in a way, even though it is just all fun and games. I don't like cry when I lose and stuff like that, but I definitely take shooters more seriously than I used to, simply because I'm just a competitive person and I don't play sports like I used to back in the day. And I think a lot of people are like that. Even maybe people who didn't play sport as a kid and they just played video games, but now they've realized they are competitive and they just want to be a little bit more competitive with their gameplay. So that is generally how shooters have gone these days. Shooters are very sweaty in this day and age, and I really hope that doesn't translate over to this game where people are freaking bunny hopping around corners and just sweating their dick off to try and get high kill games, when this is an overly casual game. It is literally just meant to be mindless fun, and I do just want it to be some mindless fun. I'm kind of sick of that sweatiness that we get in shooters these days. But luckily, I do think this kind of will be mindless fun. I don't think the mechanics in this game kind of allow for like overly sweaty gameplay. It will definitely be more sweaty than I remember it, because I used to play against bots and now playing against real players. That will obviously just inherently be more sweaty than playing against AI, but I just don't think the mechanics really allow for that. So I'm really hoping that is not the case and that it is still just mindless fun running around just shooting at the enemies, because I kind of miss that. That's what shooters used to be back in the day. Now, before we go any further, I'm actually giving away a copy of the Battlefront Classic Collection. I'm going to be doing it just a day or two before launch next week. And all you guys need to do to enter that giveaway is join the free tier to the Patreon. Yes, there is free Patreon, and joining up will automatically enter you into this giveaway. Now, paid tiers will give you double entry as well. So if you guys are already a paying member, or if you're interested in signing up, you will get double entry into the giveaway, obviously increasing your chances of winning, but you will automatically be entered regardless, even if you join in that free tier as well. Not only am I doing this giveaway, but eventually I will be giving away some of my own merch as well. And at some point throughout this year, I'm actually giving away a couple of lightsabers as well. And all of that will be done through the Patreon. So be sure to go and check it out. The link is at the top of the description. Click that link, click the button that says join for free, and you'll automatically be entered into all of those giveaways. The announcement for the winner will be done over there on the Patreon a day or two before launch. But with that being said, let's get stuck back into the video. Now, the next thing that I'm hoping for is essentially just massive success for this game, with the recent news of EA pretty much stopping work on the Respawn shooter that was meant to be based on like a Mandalorian and stuff like that. Obviously, that news happened last week. And with that, I want absolute success for this game to pretty much shove it deep down the throat of EA to kind of make them think, oh shit, we might have messed up there, because like, let's be honest, who doesn't want that? Now, I do have a whole video on my thoughts of all that news, so be sure to check that out. It was pretty fiery, and I think I got all of my thoughts out there, so I'm not going to ramble on too much about it in this video, but essentially, I'm very annoyed with the way that EA has handled that. I think that there is just unlimited potential in Star Wars gaming, especially when it comes to multiplayers, because we've really only gotten Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 2015. We did also get Squadrons, but that was not a game that was kind of built to have a long lifespan or anything like that. And I guess I just want these companies to kind of wake up and realize that there is just mad potential to make multiplayer Star Wars games, which seemingly they're all just scared of doing, because we have got multiple Star Wars games announced at this point, and they're all single player, which, don't get me wrong, I love single player games arguably more than multiplayer, but that doesn't mean I don't want a multiplayer Star Wars game. Now, my biggest hope is that this could be the game that either A, proves Star Wars games can be so worth doing, both for EA and just any company out there. I don't, unfortunately, think EA will go back on what they've said. In fact, I know that they won't, so I don't think they're going to change EA's mind, even if this sells crazy numbers or anything. But I do hope it does really well, so that all the other companies who are either already developing their Star Wars games, or even maybe thinking of developing one, they don't get disheartened by what EA's done and start looking at that thinking, oh damn, EA's dropping their Star Wars game, maybe we should, maybe it's too hard to do, maybe we should just do something else. So I want this to be the game that just proves Star Wars games can be worth it. If a 20-year-old game just sells millions of copies because it has Star Wars in the title, hopefully these companies go, oh damn, there is still absolute worth in the Star Wars license when it comes to gaming. And an even deeper layer on top of that is that I really hope this could be a game that actually kind of reboots the Battlefront franchise. Now, I know that sounds dumb because this is the original games coming back, but I really want someone to look at this and realize, damn, the Battlefront IP in itself, not just Star Wars, but Battlefront itself, is so huge that, again, if this was to sell millions, obviously part of that is it's a Star Wars game, but another part of that is that it is a Battlefront game. Hopefully these companies look at that and go, damn, someone needs to reboot Battlefront, take it off EA, because let's be honest, we don't want EA doing it at this point. And hopefully in like 3 to 5 years, another company will actually reboot Battlefront, and we'll get another like Star Wars Battlefront. It won't be Battlefront 3. It would literally just be called Star Wars Battlefront, the same way that EA took that and rebooted it from the pandemic games. Hopefully another company out there does that and reboots it from the EA games, and we just get a complete reset again and have essentially our third attempt at making a successful Battlefront franchise. They've all been successful, but for whatever reason, no one wants to continue on with them, and it is very, very frustrating. Now, my last hope in this one is definitely a little bit niche, but I thought I would throw it in here at the end. This is that I kind of hope this game shows people that a game like Star Wars Hunters, which is meant to be launching pretty damn soon, is actually worth playing, especially because that game is free. I hope that playing an old school, just pure fun type of game, it's lesser quality, it's not like super, super balanced, and there's no live service and all that kind of thing. It is just pure mindless fun. And I hope that people playing a game like that kind of show that, oh damn, a game like Star Wars Hunters Hunters can also be this much fun, because I do genuinely think that Star Wars Hunters is going to be an absolute banger. I've played a lot of hours of that game over the last couple of years now, and it is genuinely a good game. So I kind of hope that this, in a weird way, even though it's not even related to Star Wars Hunters, I hope it just wakes people up and kind of makes everyone realize, damn, these sorts of, like, I guess lower quality, mindless fun type of games are actually really fun, and therefore hopefully more people actually try Star Wars Hunters when it does launch. But those are my biggest hopes for the Battlefront Classic Collection. I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts, so be sure to leave them down in the comments section. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.